star-studded cocktail party thrown by designer Giorgio Armani. My invitation to that must have somehow got lost in the post. But first, I'm joined by celebrity voice coach Carrie Grant. Carrie, it's lovely to see you.
Lovely to be here.
And looking so well. Now, the thing about you is I always think that you look incredibly well, very blooming, very healthy, but you've been battling away with Crohn's.
Yeah, I've had Crohn's for about 20 years, and it's always strange. When I don't wear makeup, everyone says, oh, are you ill again? When I wear my makeup, everyone says, oh, you're really healthy.
We love makeup. Makeup is a good thing. Tell us about Crohn's, because some people might not know what it's all about.
Crohn's is basically a bowel disorder, but it can affect anywhere from your mouth to your bottom.
Right.
And it's inflammation, and sometimes you have to have pieces of your stomach removed, and at its worst, you can die of it, but for most people at its worst, it would mean a colostomy bag, which fortunately I haven't had to have.
So you can get it in various different degrees?
Absolutely, yes. Some people have it very, really extremely. Other people have it quite mildly, and it affects men and women from the ages, childhood, but mainly from teens to about 50 is when it would start.
And do you get flare-ups? Is that what happens?
Yeah, exactly, and you just go to the toilet a lot. And most people won't talk about it because it's about bottoms.
We're awful funny about bottoms, aren't we?
We avoid bottoms.
It's a British thing. It's a strange thing because we'll talk about everything else.
I know.
But we go all silly about that. It's daft. Because, it's good to talk about things like that as well, because I know I've got a very good friend called Helen who has Crohn's. She manages it quite well, but like you say, she does get attacks. And I know you had a bad attack during one of the Fame Academies, didn't you?
Two ways of dealing with Crohn's. Some people deal with it with steroids, and other people deal with it with diet, which is the route that I've chosen to take. And I go through long periods of time where I'm unable to eat anything other than a hospital drink, and I have no food or other drinks, just water and this drink. And I live on that for up to sort of 90 days at a time. 90 days?
Does that mean that you get... Is that enough in that drink to keep you going?
I do lose a little bit of weight, but that's normally because I eat loads normally. But yeah, so you live on that. So David Blaine, eat your heart out.
I know. He's not eaten for 44 days and you've not eaten for 90 days. Yeah, exactly. It's nothing, is it, really? You weren't even in a box. You had to go about your daily life.
Let's go do my job.
How much does it affect what you do, though?
Well, I think to begin with, when you first get diagnosed with any kind of illness, it devastates you, particularly when, I don't know, any age. I know for me, at 20, I was devastated.
Sure.
By the time it took 2 years to be diagnosed when I was 20. And for the first 5 years, I was really struggling and thinking, God, this is awful, it's the end of my life. But then I kind of picked myself up and went, hang on a minute, if I've got this for the rest of my life, I've got to get on with life.
Yeah, you've got to manage it in a way.
So, like this year, doing all the Fame Academies, making a video, writing a book, all of that stuff, you're still able to do if you really want to.
Right, but when it does flare up, it's difficult for you.
It's bad, but the thing is, for me, if I go onto my drink, like during Celebrity Fame Academy, I just lived on my drink and painkillers and got through. So
and you just went for it.
Yeah.
You just have got that strength of character.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, you're a double act. Because you come with your husband, of course. It must be important, though, for people round about you to understand this condition and for you to be able to talk about it with them and for them just to be able to know what you're going through.
David is brilliant, actually. He's fantastic. He knows just when to sort of hold my hand and be comforting, and he knows just when to give me a good kick up the bum and say, come on, go for life. But I often think it's hard for the people that are around people that suffer with any kind of illness. Everyone's focus is on the person who's ill, and everyone kind of forgets the partner who's there kind of faithfully thinking, please, I'd love to help you, but I can't. It's a feeling of huge impotence.
And the two of you met because you were in a band and he was in a band, wasn't he? And did you ever work together on stage?
Well, we actually met when I was a TV presenter, and he was the guest on my show. So back in 1986.
Oh, that's really good.
And then we've been married 15 years this year.
Is it 15 years? That's amazing.
We worked together most of the time.
That was when he was in his band, Lynx, wasn't it?
See, I'm so glad I didn't meet him back then. He just looked so awful. Sorry, David, but that's not a good image.
Well, he looks
not do well on
now.
Fame Academy with that image.
Okay now. Do you get? I mean, I just wonder with the position that you're in, can you really spot quite quickly if somebody's got it, whatever it may be?
Yes.
Can you tell within virtually the first couple of seconds?
Yes.
Is that easy?
Yes.
Is that, well, not easy, but
when we auditioned people for Fame Academy, there were 12,000 people. Wow. So you have to be quick at spotting people. But what we did notice when we were down to the last 120, you'd get them coming into the room in groups of 10, and there would always be one that just swamped the room.
Yeah.
They'd just be sitting there, and you think, why do I keep looking at that person?
It's that it that you can't define in a way.
That mystery.
You just don't know what it is. Now you work a lot with Mel C, and she was in here yesterday.
Yes,
with her
she loved it in here.
A Robocop leg.
Oh my gosh.
The wee soul.
She's such a hero.
But I have always said that of all of them, she had the strongest voice. I think she's got a great voice, and you see her there. I mean, she obviously was born to perform. That's what she wants to do.
And the thing I love about Melanie is she works really hard. She's really committed to improvement, and
How can you help in a practical way? If somebody's obviously got, you can't take somebody who doesn't have any talent at all and you can, you know, and help them, but somebody who's just about there, what's the polishing process like?
I think for the one thing that David and I want to put across is the whole thing that everybody can actually sing.
Right.
I think you can teach anybody to sing. In our experience, that's been the case. And I think everyone can begin to enjoy their voices. I don't think everyone wants to be a pop star, and you don't necessarily have to learn to sing in order to be, you know, to perform in front of people. Right. I think just to enjoy your voice is the most important thing. But in terms of pop stars, there are so many very basic things. Even at the auditions, in 5 minutes, you can change the way that someone is performing just by... Because they'll normally stand there with their head cocked like this and their chin up. And say, OK, straighten your head and stop blinking when you're singing, like that. And just really basic stuff like that. Even performance things, you can change someone very quickly.
Very interesting. Well, listen, I need your expert advice later on Pop Panel, because we've got some crackers to go through, including Blue and Liberty X.
Fantastic.
It's lovely to see you. And I'll tell you what, if you want any more information about Crohn's disease, do log on to our website, gm.tv. Still to come this morning, the woman who gets her hands all over the likes of Bruce Willis, Eminem and Sting. But first, here's the Queen of Clean. She's dishing the dirt on dusting and watermarks on wooden furniture. Here she is. And blue. But first, the stars were out in force last night at a star-studded cocktail party thrown by designer Giorgio Armani.